What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Thursday edition of the NBA Slate Starter Podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my buddy Ryan as we break down the 7-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. I don't really know. Nothing. After yesterday, everything went right for me. Today, nothing went right for me. That's kind of the story of it, other than Marvin Bagley, who just was exceptional, and he was much lower owned than he should have been coming off a dud. I would say, yeah, Kevin Porter Jr. getting hurt, not good. Russell Westbrook, I guess, was incredible, but he's a free square at this point. Rayen Patnaik, how's your night going?
Yeah, it's a tough night for me yet again. Just been on the wrong side of these studs. Giannis putting up a subpar performance. Only playing 21 minutes. I know it's a back-to-back, but I love the matchup against Washington. 31.5 fantasy points. Russ is going ballistic as he's up to north of 59 now. So Russ is well on his way to potentially 65 plus 70 plus fantasy points. But the night was headlined by Mo Bamba Chalk as he went for 50 plus. So it was Mo Bamba or no cash.
Mo money, mo problems. Yeah, it is what it is. But I loved Mo Bamba too. I just probably didn't, 20%. He ended up being 15% on FanDuel. There were a lot of good center plays, and he just happened to be the top of it and went off. So do you ever look back on something like that and be like, man, I should have had more Mo? Or do you look back on it and say, I was happy to be with Jokic and Embiid and Karl Anthony Towns and these massive ceilings?
Yeah, I'm going to always look back and be like, I wish I had all of that, whoever falls in the optimal, right? Like, how can you not? It's the FOMO of not winning, especially Giannis's absolute Greek fraud performance has put me on full tilt. So I don't understand what's going on with Budenholzer and his minutes with the Giannis and a matchup against Washington. So I'm just on Greek fraud tilt right now. But looking back at it, Mo Bamba seemed like a solid play once you got Wendell Carter Jr. not playing. And they're testing this guy out. This guy was a lottery pick for a reason. Obviously has great fantasy DFS potential when he's out there at that price tag. So good to see that he paid off. I thought the ownership was rightfully there. I think being over the field on that still made a lot of sense.
He was so raw at Texas. He was so good. Just kind of a freak. He's kind of a freak, I think. But yeah, kind of like Robert Williams 2.0. Ironic that Robert Williams himself couldn't get there today, but such is life. What we should do, Rayen Patnaik, is understand that this is daily fantasy sports, not weekly fantasy. So we can recover. We can come back. Get to that bottom bar. Help us out a little bit. Hit that like button. Get some of that good juju going for yourself. Hit that subscribe button. That goes a long way for us here at Awesemo. And then hit that notification bell because, let's be serious, we have a bunch of awesome content coming out on YouTube around the clock, literally every hour of the day, it seems like, between Josh, when he gets it going in the morning, us, we get you going here at night. We're talking the slate all through the day with the various shows that we've got, from the strategy show, the deeper dive, the tipper off, of course, and lastly, Live Before Lock, which I got to sub in for today as Greg Ehrenberg lost internet. What a time to be alive. But we are sponsored today by monkeyknifefight.com, as we always are. Head to monkeyknifefight.com. Check out all their prop-based games. They've got goodies for NBA, MLB, NHL, MMA, everything you could ask for. They have multipliers going for their different sports. Use promo code Awesemo, AWESEMO. It's everywhere that you're looking at here on the screen if you're watching us on YouTube, or should say it on your phone. Spell that. Put that in the bar when you check out. If you're a first-time depositor, get $100 free back on that. Can't beat free 99. That's monkeyknifefight.com, and you should check them out. Rayen Patnaik, are you ready to get going, my dude?
Yeah, let's ride.
Let's ride. Rayen Patnaik's on the revenge tour. You guys don't want to be in the $20 tomorrow. I can tell you that much. The guy, when he gets the fire and the vitriol going, you don't want to be involved. Russell Westbrook's top end. Hey, did I say yesterday Russell Westbrook's underpriced? I think I did, because he is $11,000 going up against Toronto. We'll see if he plays on the back-to-back. I'm assuming he will, because he's Russ Westbrook and he's indestructible here at the moment. It's like the Terminator of every single slate. Can't wait to see what his ownership is should he be good to go tomorrow. Luka Doncic, $10,900. Feels like you should be getting a better discount than just $100 coming off of Russ, but that's your pivot. Going up against Brooklyn, good matchup, but yeah, I'm going to prefer Russ. Also, Steph Curry. If you want to talk about a guy who's a direct pivot, I think, how about Steph Curry, who has one of the craziest 1.67 fantasy points per minute with Kelly Oubre off the floor this season in a 765-minute sample size. That's pretty nifty. Sign me up. talk about the top end of point guard.
Yeah, top end of point guard, Russ Westbrook against Toronto. 11K seems like $11,000 too cheap at this point. 11.6 over there on FanDuel seems
What if they made him
11,000.
20K?
Yo, he's been paying off that price tag. It feels like it this whole last 2-3 weeks. So it wouldn't shock me if he sees his DraftKings price tag and it's like he goes, interesting. And he wants to prove all those haters wrong. And Russ has just been on an absolute tear at this point. So I love him. At this point, he's going to be one of the highest owned players on the slate. Tough not to be over the field on that because you're guaranteeing yourself 75 plus fantasy points, it seems like, on a daily. Steph Curry, 10-6 against Oklahoma City. Steph Curry has just absolutely been rock solid at all, like pretty much all since the second half. Obviously been on that historical tear. Shot attempts 31-28 last 2 games. You love to see that, $9,900. Luka Doncic also 10-9 over there on FanDuel. Checks in at 10-9 on DraftKings. Pivot off of Russ if you want to do that in tournaments. No issues there. And matchup versus Brooklyn. So it's really interesting how that ownership's going to line up. Kyrie Irving now came off a 60-point game against Drew Holiday. He figured out what happened in that second game. So against now Dallas, I think Kyrie can definitely eat. Why not? Other guys up top, we got Lowry and Van Vliet. If they both play, they haven't both played in a while, it feels like. So you can take some chances with both of them in a matchup versus Washington, the team that will be on a back-to-back. LaMelo Ball, $7,900 also stands out to me. I think he's well on his way to a Rookie of the Year, so no complaints there. $7,500 on FanDuel in a matchup versus Chicago. I think makes for a fine option there. Other guys you want to spend down and pay up for? Spend down. We'll see what Caruso's minutes look like. He played against Denver. How many minutes? He played 28 minutes against Denver. Now matched up against the Clippers. $3,900 is okay. Matchup I'm kind of feared of, but that's really about it. I know there's a guy in that same price range you were quite over the field on in Brad Wanamaker last time out. Are you going to go back to Wanamaker?
Yep. He was a guy at 1% that I had 6% of or something. It wasn't substantial, but it was enough to have leverage. And for me, the winner ended up being Tim Hardaway Jr. For my one winning lineup that I had yesterday, and he ended up being the 2% guy that I had 20% of. There were a lot of interesting things that you have to do on some of these super chalky slates, mainly trying to target like shooting dependent guys who can spike an upside if they get extra runs somehow. That's really kind of the only way I've found to get like really different on some of these slates. So maybe Aaron Holiday doesn't fit the mold of that, but he's 3,500. He was up to like 4K, and I think we both played a little bit too much of him today. Is that correct?
Yeah, I definitely played way too much Aaron Holiday. Yeah. I was just well over the field on those Indiana guys and Houston guys. No one on Houston is really going to get there. Kind of disappointing with the team that had 7 bodies outside of KJ Martin. But that's the way that goes. Actually, Kelly Olynyk's up to 56 as I take a look at things now. So,
oh, baby. Let's go.
He is tearing it up as we speak.
Let's go. But yeah, Brad Wanamaker, he ended up being the recipient also of Malik Monk being absolutely garbage. And I think that definitely helped him out a little bit. Had some good lineups with Brad Wanamaker. But yeah, LaMelo Ball definitely the priority. I don't think that's going to shock anybody there. But under 4K over on FanDuel, 3,900. Go ahead and take some shots on him there too. Because that's really kind of the way they get different. But man, 11.6 on FanDuel for Russ, 11K. I'm just going to be jamming him again so long as he's playing. I mean, it's just an unprecedented pace that he's on. 65%, 70%. How many times does this guy have to prove it before he becomes a lock?
No, I mean, he's just been absolutely on an absolute tear. These are the slates that I kind of struggle with the Russell Westbrook straits just because as a tournament player, I like making pivots off of a high-owned guy, and especially a stud. Studs usually are very obviously they're studs for a reason, but pivoting off of that highly ownership is how you jump fields in tournaments. And I unfortunately haven't been able to do that during this Russell Westbrook tear. So it just makes it tough for a player of my the way I approach slates. So he's just on a tear. There's nothing else to it. We should be projecting him for 65, 75 fantasy points. It feels like just because of how many minutes he's playing, and he's just fetching down uh, like all the peripherals. The points are like the third priority for him right now, it feels like.
It's insanity. It really is. I mean, that's the correct way of looking at it. Like, James Harden 2 years ago got there with some crazy ceilings, but he was still not like completely shooting dependent, but he was the guy chucking the most from Houston during that run. And the thing with Russ is he just gets every board, he gets every assist. It's just something to behold what he's doing. But anywho, that's not a surprise to anyone. Let's jump on over to shooting guard. Top end over on FanDuel. We got James Harden out, Zach LaVine. He is a game time decision for this. They're saying that he's probable. So we're going to see Zach LaVine back in the fray. Welcome back, young man. Don't play him at 9,400, I think, unless we get word that there's no minutes limit or something. But I'm guessing that you're probably on board with that. You can tell me if you're different with that. Bradley Beal, 8,900 going up against Toronto. He's kind of been the guy who's been suppressed. He's playing pretty well right now against Milwaukee. I saw he was at 43 through 3/4 on FanDuel. Hopefully he can get a little bit more going in a couple lineups I have going, but doesn't matter because I have 100% Kevin Porter Jr. over there, so whatever. And then Paul George, 8,800. Nice to see that price tag come down a little bit here. And then Karis LeVert, we're back on the Indiana situation here. Just another Indiana game where we kind of know what we're doing. We're waiting on Malcolm Brogdon news. We're waiting on all these other dudes. 8,500. Can we expect a better Karis LeVert outing tomorrow? That's all I have. Talk about the top end of shooting guard.
Top end of shooting guard, obviously. Yeah. Bradley Beal. I'm going to say it again. Makes for a great pivot if you don't want to roster Westbrook. I've been continually to do that and been on the wrong side for quite some time now. So 8,900 for Beal on FanDuel. I still think you can play him with Westbrook. I did that in some lineups today. Paul George, 8,800 versus the Lakers. I like that quite a bit. I know he's been disappointing the last two games out, but shot attempts are there. He can pick up peripherals against this Lakers team. No issues going to there. Other guys up top, obviously Van Vliet, someone who was pretty solid in the game without Lowry last time out. LeVert with no Brogdon, I'll still have interest. Was very disappointing today as they got blown out by Sacramento. So we'll see what ends up happening with those minutes tomorrow. I think he'll be right back where it is with potentially no Brogdon. And spending down all the way, guys who stand out at their price tag. I believe Terry Rozier is down to 6,200. That's a little too cheap for Rozier. I think he's going to still play those high 30s minutes. He took 23 shot attempts last time. That's just simply too cheap for someone priced at $6,200 on FanDuel. Other guys, if you want to take some chances on Malik Monk, 4,700. I know it was very disappointing last time out. Only played 19 minutes. Matchup versus Chicago could work out for you. Over there in DK, up top, obviously, similar guys, and guys like Beal, Paul George, Van Vliet. Van Vliet out of those three definitely stands out. Beal, where you get the 3-point bonus, $9,300, saving up a PG, makes a lot of sense. Shooting guard positions all the way down. If you want to spend down for a guy like Brad Wanamaker, like we talked about, could work out for you. Caleb Martin's at 3,900, shooting guard, small forward eligible. Caruso, $4,100. Other guys, maybe Frank Jackson with no Josh Jackson again, still found a way to play 29 minutes last time out. So up to 5,100 versus Memphis. I'll be a little cautious about it, but we're seeing those minutes and he has shown an upside over the past week. So that's Frank Jackson for you. But honestly, no one really else. I guess Svi Mikhailiuk deserves a shout out at $3,200. I don't know what OKC is doing with this rotation as they gave Charlie Brown a rest of a season deal. So tough to pinpoint those shooting guard spots for OKC guys like Ty Jerome and Svi Mikhailiuk, but one of them could be good for sure.
What is a dentist's favorite time of the day? Tooth hurty. And that's Josh Jackson. So we have to be going to all these Detroit Pistons again because his tooth hurties, it's not good for him. Dude, the look on your face was maybe my favorite thing I've ever seen. Frank Jackson sitting there at 5,100 on DraftKings. We have Josh Jackson out, Corey Joseph out, Rodney McGruder out, Wayne Ellington out. This Servetus dude played 8 minutes, which is his, I guess he had a 9-minute game there too. So he exists. There's that. But Killian Hayes, Saban Lee, because Corey Joseph also is listed out there too. Frank Jackson. Those are going to be your three guards there. Sadiq Bey is going to get an unlimited amount of run at the three. He's played 38 and 40 minutes in two of his last three, so that'll be nifty as well. I mean, this Detroit team, I wish we could just remove them from the slate as well. The same way that I felt about Houston today, but that is life. I guess Houston, for the most part, is going well, minus Kevin Porter Jr. Going around the rest of this position, I did like that you pointed out Terry Rozier, 6,200. He got moved from point guard back to shooting guard. Big plus there for him. Devontae Graham is not expected to play from the sounds of it. Can you try taking a shot again on Malik Monk? The guy is shooting dependent. He went 0 for 8. Could not have been possibly worse. I didn't really play him because I don't like to play shooting dependent guys on those kind of slates where they're garnering ownership. I'd rather take shooting dependent shots on guys who aren't popular, hence the Tim Hardaway Jr. call from last time. Do you have any desire to go back to Malik Monk if he's under 10% owned?
Yeah, Malik Monk is fine. I know it was disappointing last time, but shooting guard position sucks tomorrow. Honestly, you want to probably spend up the way things stand right now, barring any news. I guess Andrew Wiggins always deserves mention of his tournament upside, but I have any real interest spending all the way down tomorrow. Really tough to find any punts.
We've got Ryan Nelson, who's been time stamping everything in the chat constantly that you and I say. So, Rinpack, what time is it here on the bar that I'm looking at? Oh, 16:26. Let it be known, shooting guard sucks on this slate. Rayen Patnaik. There it is. We are done.
I think he's gonna do a 15:45 with your 2:30.
Oh, absolutely. That's 100% coming. And then maybe he's going to put a timestamp of the recap of the timestamp that we have now brought up. That is the Galaxy brain play. But anywho, let's move ourselves on and over to small forward on the top end. Luka Doncic, 10,900 there. LeBron James going to be out for the next two games here for the Lakers, at least the next back-to-back games here. Lakers on the front end of their back-to-back set against the Clippers. Best of luck, y'all. Kevin Durant, 9,900 at that position. I think he's definitely not just viable, but back-to-back 40-minute performances. I expect him to be pretty popular, still under 10K. That's a discount. Bradley Beal, you can play him at the small forward position there, but Kawhi Leonard, 8,800, played 30 and 33 minutes. Has not been good since he came back from injury. It's been, 2 weeks off, but the Clippers are just a good basketball team, so I'm not terribly worried about them as is. They were still able to win that Toronto game pretty easily there, but Kawhi Leonard not taking on a bunch of that usage. Him and Paul George, definitely a tandem that'll start to get going here, but would you have some interest at 8,800 on Kawhi Leonard and just talk about the rest of the position?
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard is one of those guys who I'm consistently over the field on. I like going to that price tag, $8,800, saving $1,800 off of KD. I don't mind Kawhi in a matchup versus the Lakers, as the Clippers probably want these Lakers to go through that playing game. So I think Kawhi's going to come out and ball out. I like Kawhi on both sides, honestly. But won't fault you if you want to spend up to KD. Obviously, KD's been balling the last two games out, 62 and 58 DraftKings points. He has been absolutely sensational, playing 40 minutes. Guys playing 40 minutes. I know it's been almost 2 years since he turned that Achilles now. Kind of wild how fast time flies, but he's fully healthy and ready to go. And that's great for fantasy things and great for the Brooklyn Nets. Other guys who stand out at that small forward position on DK, no one really else in terms of price tag, really. Tim Hardaway Jr., 5,200, balled out for you. Are you going to go back to him against Brooklyn? I think you probably will, right? How can you not? $5,200 against Brooklyn? You're going to have a ton of interest in Tim Hardaway, I'm assuming.
Facundo Campazzo is 30 at the half against New York. They're up 21. I don't even know what to say. But yes, Tim Hardaway Jr., I'm still listening to you, letting it be known. I'm just rotating through, looking at some box scores, see if we can't figure out anything for some of these back-to-backs, because there's a number of them still on this slate as well. But yeah, Dallas, I definitely got to love. Going back to my guy there, part of it about him is that he's much better than he's played of late for this team, but I saw in the box score 2 games ago, played 36 minutes against Detroit, went 6 for 10 from 3, 10 for 10 from the line, 42 actual points. Now, there aren't many opportunities to find somebody who's still underneath 5K with that kind of upside, and so I just had to go like 5x the field on it, and that ended up being the differentiating piece. I think you can go right back there, 5,200 tomorrow. He might have some ownership going up against Brooklyn, but there are just so many guys there. Dorian Finney-Smith. You're going to have Porzingis and Kleba probably out again tomorrow. But there's a lot of guys kind of clogged in there. I'd be curious what his ownership gets to, but when you have shooting dependent guys like that with such high ceilings, if they're not going to be owned, that's when you really want to be firing on them. That's kind of the inverse of what Malik Monk was the other night. So maybe I go to Malik Monk this time. What do you think about that? Maybe don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, awesome. That was the easiest explanation of all time there. But yes, Tim Hardaway Jr., a guy to go to there. Josh Richardson, 4,600 on FanDuel, playing low 20s minutes. I don't probably want to do that at all. Chandler Hutchinson, I think, just left that game with he got hurt of some regard here. But he had put up in limited minutes, been doing all right there. Now Washington's going to be without Rui Hachimura there and Chandler Hutchinson. Is it Garrett? Can we possibly do something crazy like Garrison Matthews, or does that open up some Davis Bertans run, or what are we kind of looking at from that?
That's tough. I mean, they've been giving those minutes to Anthony Gill, right? So
I played him. I'm a fish. I'll wear the dunce cap. I definitely played him.
He's not a fun person to roster,
no,
but
he's not.
He gets minutes. I think Isaac Bonga might re-enter the rotation now. Who knows what Scott Brooks is going to do? It is a tough situation to spend down. It's really tough. I mean, Caleb Martin, also a small forward on DK, like you mentioned. Over there in FanDuel, it's been down. Lou Dort down to 5,300. I don't think that's terrible. Kuzma, 5,500. Tough Clippers matchup, in my opinion. Tournament upside for sure. You mentioned Jay Rich. No issues there.
Oh, last guy. So this comes from behind the scenes when we're talking before shows, when we're chatting back and forth. What is a Gabriel Deck? And would you want to roster him again tomorrow? Because you definitely did that.
I did roster him the other night. It didn't matter because every other Chalk 3K player went ballistic. And he did really well himself. It just was like 10 points less than every other 3K player. So Gabriel Deck, 4,700, has been impressive in those limited minutes in terms of point per minute. Has been
3,500 on DraftKings.
That I could do. I can't do 4,700 on FanDuel. That is too much. I think they've been listening to this podcast and they heard my Gabriel Deck love the last time out.
That is too much. I'm just saying, you had brought him up a couple times. I'm just throwing it out there again. Oh man, we came up with some garbage yesterday, didn't we? Oh man, you gotta be aware of what's down there on the bottom end, because again, these slates can turn Starsy and Scrubsy instantly, like we've seen, I don't know, the last however many nights consecutively. Jumping on over to the power forward position over on FanDuel, going to the top end. Domantas Sabonis now 10-5 on the back-to-back here. We'll see what he finishes out with, but yeah, I don't know. That's a big number for him there. Over on DraftKings, I think he was kind of right up in that same range. 10-4 tomorrow, so he's dropped $200 there. Anthony Davis, 9,400. He's probable to go. You got to think that in mid-30s minutes, he's going to have to start taking on a lot of this offensive load as he gets healthier and gets more acclimated to the offense. 9,400 on FanDuel. Something tells me you'll be over the field on him too, just knowing you. And then Pascal Siakam, 8,600 going up against Washington. Everybody getting back to full strength here makes it more difficult, but God, those minutes are crazy. 40, 38, and 41 his last three. 28.4, not good. 68.6, really good. 40.4, okay. Talk to me about the top end of power forward.
Top end of power forward has Anthony Davis. Sign me up. Like you said, I'll be over the field on AD yet again. Has not worked out. Pretty much.
Did somebody swear and my mic knew, or your mic knew, or something happened? That was great. That was great timing. Anthony Davis. There it is.
He has not worked out for me pretty much all year long. But here I am again saying that I'll be over the field again. I like his price tag against the Clippers. I know no Ibaka there to slow him down defensively. We know we can, if you want to attack the Clippers, we can do it through the front court. I don't think Marcus Morris is going to slow him down unless Marcus Morris does a dirty play. 9,600. I like AD. I like pivoting off of Sabonis, Kevin Durant, Pascal Siakam. But if you don't want to roster him, I don't blame you. Obviously, it's Anthony Davis. He has not been a fun roster, and Probably is too expensive for his performance of late as well. So keep that in mind. Draymond Green, 7,900, 7,200 on DraftKings. Dude has been really good over the past 2 weeks or so, playing a lot of minutes as this Warriors team needs to rally off wins to stay in the play-in game hunt. So I like Draymond Green as these games become must-win situations for a lot of these teams down the stretch. If you want to spend down, Tyler Cook, Sekou Dimboya 3,500, played 34 minutes, had one of his best fantasy games of the season. I think I believe the second best in his career, if I'm not mistaken.
It
So,
was.
yeah, Sekou showing why he was a raw talent. We'll see what comes around for Sekou. Uh, Davis Bertans, 3,600. I think he can get some more minutes. Hopefully, he can hit some threes. What was his contract in the summer? 16 million per year, if I'm not mistaken.
He got the bag, and then he got COVID, right? And then he couldn't come out and run, or for whatever it was. He had something where he just, I mean, his workouts, it had to be so hard for some of these dudes to be able to work out and to get in shape during COVID. I mean, they had the same kind of issues that we have all had in going to a gym or trying to do other things. And yeah, being a professional athlete, probably not the easiest thing if you're Davis Bertans and you weren't, if you got COVID or had something happen in that regard. And he's just been sluggish and not the 3-point sharpshooter that he's supposed to be for this team. But yeah, he secured the bag, so good for him.
Yeah, definitely good for him for securing the bag. Can't hate on someone getting the bag, but there's got to be a game where he rallies off 5 to 6 3-pointers. 3,600. The slate's small enough where I'll take my chances with him. You mentioned Siakam. The matchup is definitely favorable for him. We know people against Washington eat except Giannis. So you love that Nurse is going to roll this guy out 38 plus minutes the last 2 games out. Actually, last 3 games out. So I like going to that. We saw Yuta Watanabe get the start with no Lowry. I think Lowry should return tomorrow. So we can shy away. I don't know what's happening with sorry. Yeah, I think Doug McDermott is a sneaky tournament option. I know it's not fun, but he's been getting minutes and when the game stays close over there on FanDuel. That's really about it. I think Isaiah Stewart obviously going to be a strong priority play, as I think there was no Plumlee tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, that is correct. Yep, they're resting all of those dudes again. We're back on that business. The thing I'm trying to figure out right now with my iPad right now, trying to figure out what Washington's doing. So Hutchinson ended up getting hurt and leaving there early. Bertans, there's 4 minutes left in this game. Bertans is up to 28 minutes. They've got out on the floor right now, closing in these last 4 minutes. They've got Garrison Matthews out there. He's played 9 minutes now. All of that for the most part in the second half here. Has 8 points, 5 for 6 from the free throw line. That's kind of nifty. But Bertans, 2 for 6 from 3. Daniel Gafford, 10 minutes. He's right now in that. He's out on the floor too. God, it's just so hard to trust anything Scott Brooks is doing. But one of those guys I feel like outside of Westbrook, outside of Beal, has an ability to pop. Hutchinson isn't a guy who was playing crazy minutes, but that's another 15. You have no Rui. It's kind of an all-hands-on-deck situation. Isak Bonga played 6 minutes tonight, so letting it be known, maybe they do have enough guys that they can rotate around, but I might be willing to take some shots here or there. Looking around the rest of the power forward position on the bottom end, Jeff Green is somebody that I've been taking shots on routinely. It's been really bad the last 2, 34 minutes in both of them, which is great, but 18 and 18.75 DraftKings points. Just, you want those bigger minutes, but those were Milwaukee matchups. I think Dallas, less imposing of a front court or a matchup. I mean, I think Giannis was on him back and forth. It was Giannis, and then DeAndre Jordan was trying to guard Giannis. It was a very confusing back and forth in both of those games. But somebody at 5K, I think there's a ceiling there, and I'm willing to take some shots. And last guy I'll throw in, Danilo Gallinari, coming off of a 50.5 outing, under 5K, 4,700 over on DraftKings. What do you think about him? And then we'll move along.
Gallinari, I wonder how he did today and how many minutes he got today.
I'll let you pull that up, and I'll move over to center. You can touch on Gallinari at the top, but we're running a little long for everybody today. It's Cinco de Mayo, you know. It is what it is.
Yeah, he put up 30 in 23 minutes. Shout out to Neki Okongu, who put up 33 in 18 minutes today. So Okongu, interesting to see he got 18 minutes as they got blown out. I know, as they beat the Phoenix Suns, I believe.
Yeah, they were up 9 at halftime, I believe it was. So that's pretty crazy. Yeah, Phoenix was on a back-to-back. That doesn't completely shock me, but yeah, another spot that you can be going to. Gallo under 5K. How many minutes did you say you got to?
23.
Oh, that's not great. Don't play him. Okay, top end of center on DraftKings to round it all out. You've got Sabonis, power forward / center eligible, but Vooch, your first true center. He's got that Q tag next to him, but he is probable. So you're going to get Levine and Vooch. I'm not going to play either of them. I just don't see a need to. Maybe against Charlotte, one spikes an upside, and I'm going to regret that, but I doubt it. You got Davis. Porzingis will be out. We've talked about Davis for sure already. But then your next batch of true centers, Clint Capella, 8,600. As you said, looking at that box score, you can let me know how he did. But enough upside there, but I just don't think you really need to be going that direction either. Jonas Valanciunas, 7,800, kind of sticking out there too. An interesting power forward position, center position where I might be trying to play some power forwards because I don't see a lot there on the top end. And then you've got Isaiah Stewart in the mid-range, 6,500, maybe some shots there. Talk to me about the top end of center.
Yeah, top end of center, Capella, Vooch, Jonas Valanciunas. Obviously, we're getting our second tier centers today for tomorrow. A lot of the class of the centers are not playing as they run the slate today. Spending up in confidence, I'll take my chances on Vooch. I think against Charlotte, team that he's played well against throughout his career, I want to say. I don't think anyone on Charlotte's going to slow down Vooch, even though Levine returning doesn't help him as much. But spending up to Vooch, I feel confident he's going to find over there on DK. Obviously, Simone's 10-4, as they didn't play the full game as they got blown out. Don't mind that. Capella 8K on a back-to-back versus this Indiana team. His minutes were only at 24 as they beat the Suns by 32. Wow. Okay. That's kind of crazy. But Capella 8K, yeah, he's going to be contrarian my option. I think pivoting to Valanciunas could destroy Isaiah Stewart in 20 minutes. Valanciunas only played 20 minutes today. You know why? Because he fouled out with 6 fouls in 20 minutes.
So he's rested.
Yeah, he's well rested as I believe they beat the Timberwolves today by 3. So
that game's still going, it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah, 3-point game right now, though. Timberwolves ball.
Interesting. Overtime would really change
Look at us recapping the games for the first time maybe ever on the Slate Starter podcast. We're choosing, May 5th to do this? This is crazy, but I think it really matters late season DFS, just kind of reacting to what's going on in some of these games and seeing rotations look like for teams that are being competitive. Start paying attention to these teams that aren't competitive. Minnesota shouldn't be, but they are. Whatever. Continue.
Yeah, so they've been playing kind of well. Minnesota's been playing pretty well of late, so I am not terribly shocked this game is close, but spending down, man, it is ugly tomorrow. Oh my God, it is bad. It is so bad.
Moses Brown at 4,900, coming off of 29 minutes and 32.4 on FanDuel. Jahlil Okafor at 4,500 on FanDuel, playing 21 minutes. Maybe a fantasy point per minute guy. Possibly. We don't know. We haven't seen him forever. I have no idea.
Okafor is the main over there in DraftKings.
Ooh.
I guess. But
I might have to play some.
I would play some too. Willie Cauley-Stein got the start last time. It was terrible. And that was really disappointing. I was like, what? He's starting over Dwight Powell. So Dwight Powell was 3,500. He was really good against Miami. So I wouldn't mind Dwight Powell at that price tag. I think they're going to start him tomorrow against Brooklyn. They might go small, depending on Kleber's status. Their minutes are opening up for the front court. Look, Blake Griffin is starting to close games for this team. He's playing mid-20s minutes. He's not the craziest play now at $4,700 over there on DraftKings. So Blake Griffin and Kevin Durant is slowly putting together a deadly two-man game. It's been kind of interesting to see how they're balling out. Essentially, Mike James is playing a lot of minutes. James Harden will be playing in the playoffs. Hopefully, Harden gets back sooner than later, and this Brooklyn team should be all systems go.
I would be a deadly two-man game with Kevin Durant. It's like you got to be good with Kevin Durant. How can you not be?
I mean, There have been teams in the past that have not been good at two-man game with KD.
Yeah, Russell Westbrook when he needed to have the ball in his hands. Now Russell Westbrook apparently decided he doesn't need to have the shot attempts at least. There's that, but still just, geez, Russ, you're out of your mind. Anything else that you want to talk about at center, or do you want to round this puppy out?
It's an ugly center slate tomorrow. That's kind of what it is. You're gonna have to make some tough decision points at center.
Can we carry some centers from today over to tomorrow? Can we just roster Bamba from today, tomorrow? That would help a lot.
Wouldn't it be nice just to like roster yesterday's fantasy results into today? We'd win all the money. That'd be an amazing time machine.
Just the absolute time machine almanac action. Rinpak, any final words for the people?
Yeah, Giannis is a Greek fraud. That's really about it. But no, thanks so much for tuning in. It's another Russell Westbrook slate, so we'll see what ends up happening. Is it going to be 75? Yeah, probably will be 75 fantasy points. We'll see what happens.
Roster him. There you go. There's my hot take tomorrow. Roster Russell Westbrook if he's playing. That's all I got for you. He's Ryan. I'm Eric. We will catch you back here for, what is it, Friday? We only have one more this week. That's so sad. But guys, take it easy. Best of luck.